the Amherst Township Trustees, called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Uhrig?
Yes.
Kish? Also here. I have the reading of the minutes from the June 22nd, 2021 Amherst Township Trustees meeting. The meeting was called to order at 7:01 p.m. by Chairman Lynch with a pledge to the flag. Roll call, Abraham, Lynch, Uhrig, and Kish were all present. Also in attendance, Kay Smarsh, R. Cerrone, L. Ashley, G. Lynch, C. Neihart, and Deputy Lawson. 6/5/21, a motion by Uhrig, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2021 regular meeting as read. All ayes. 6/6/21, a motion by Uhrig, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the bills and financial reports with reservations. All ayes. Fiscal Officer Kish reminded everyone she will be preparing the 2022 draft budget this Friday and sending to the trustees. A special meeting regarding the budget will be held on July 2nd at 7:30 a.m. with the trustees, fiscal officer, and road superintendent. A backup meeting, if required, will be held on July 6, 2021 at 5 p.m. Fiscal Officer Kish noted that copies of updated Otarma insurance anniversary outline were emailed to each trustee. A decision needs to be made prior to paying the invoice if we want to increase the liability limits. Trustee Lynch suggested to increase from $5 million to the $6 million liability. 6/7/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to increase the liability limit to $6 million at a cost of an additional $873 from Otarma. Roll call, all ayes. There were no audience concerns. Under correspondence, Trustee Lynch noted that the bid opening for the Angle Ditch Restoration Phase 3 will be at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. Trustee Lynch noted we just received notification at 6 p.m. today that the townships will be included in the ARP funds as approved by the Ohio Senate. The Ohio House must concur with the Senate bill, but Amherst Township could potentially receive $602,632.84. Thursday, June 24th at 1 p.m., there will be a seminar regarding use of these funds. Under reports, ambulance. The Sandstone Joint Ambulance District Board met on June 17th at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Fire Station. It has been over a year since they last met, so the bulk of the conversations were catching up on all happenings over the past year. Discussions ensued regarding distributing a portion of the ARP funds to life care equipment. Amherst Township's portion would be roughly $19,000. Sheriff. Deputy Lawson reported that seasonal crimes are happening. Mailbox thefts are on the increase. Speed indicator device will be going up in the valley, and it does log the number of vehicles and their speed. Under zoning, there were 5 permits issued for the month, year-to-date total of 3 new homes. The ZBA has scheduled a meeting for July 15th at 7 p.m. for an area variance for a tree service on Route 113. Fire inspector, inspecting at Jamie's, and they have up to 5 food trucks. The state has regulations for safety requirements for food trucks, and they are currently not meeting the requirements. He has spoken with the owner of Jamie's and provided her a list of the regulations. She is very receptive to meeting the requirements. Fire Prevention Officer Neihart suggested charging a fee to recoup the expense of inspecting these mobile food units. Also working through the commercial fire inspections in Amherst Township. 6/8/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham, moved that the fees for the inspection of mobile food units be equivalent to the time and vehicle costs specified in the current fire service agreement between the City of Amherst and Amherst Township, based on the time expended by the fire prevention officer while inspecting the vehicles for compliance with the existing fire code. A minimum fee will be $50 per mobile food unit per year, and the max will be $236 per mobile food unit per year. All ayes. Under road, park, and cemetery, roadside mowing and trimming, met with Matt Arnold and Don Romanchik regarding catch basins and storm sewers. We will be receiving the $5,000 community grant. We had a down tree on Dewey due to the storm on Monday, and it was closed for a period of time. Under senior services, event sponsorship grant from NOPAC has been awarded in the amount of $1,500, can be used for dumpster days, grinding, and fall cleanup. We should be hearing July if we have received the Green Ribbon Grant of $2,500. Attended an OPWC webinar regarding filing future loan applications online. Under complaints, they are being handled by the designated individuals. Unfinished business, solid waste. Trustee Uhrig applied for the solid waste community grant to use toward the grinding and a portion of the quarterly newsletters. Under new business, 6921, motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move for support for facility planning area prescription change from on-site system only to limited sewers expected within 20 years, Carvana project. Roll call, Lynch and Abraham, ayes. Uhrig, nay. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be held Tuesday, July 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. There is a 2022 budget meeting scheduled for July 2nd, 2021 at 7:30 a.m. and a possible follow-up meeting, if required, for July 6th, 2021 at 5 p.m. 6:10:21, a motion by Uhrig, seconded by Abraham, to adjourn at 8:26 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the June 22nd meeting minutes?
I have none.
Okay, then can I have a motion to approve
So
as
moved.
presented?
Second.
Uhrig,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
And you also have in front of you the special trustee meeting minutes from July 2nd, 2021. The meeting was called to order at 7:30 a.m. by Chairman Lynch. Roll call, Abraham, Lynch, Uhrig, and Kish were present. Also attending, Case Marsh and L. Ashley. The pledge to the flag and reading of the prior meeting minutes were deferred to the regular meeting. The meeting was to plan and prepare the 2022 budget and long-term financial planning. The next meeting, Tuesday, July 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 7:121, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Uhrig. Move to adjourn at 9:17 a.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the July 2nd meeting minutes?
No. I have none.
Okay, then can I have a motion to
So
approve
moved.
as presented?
Second.
Uhrig,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, then in your packets, as I mentioned earlier, we received our May credit card statement late, much later than normal. So this is usually in the second half of the monthly meeting. So this is catch up for May, but there was nothing out of the ordinary that was in there. And as you can see in the packet, all the receipts were there.
And the one negative is just a return then,
Yes,
Chris?
yes. Ooh.
I'm going to make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy, and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
I'll second it.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Uhrig.
Yes.
Then you have the bills in front of you, the payment listing. There's nothing out of the ordinary. The largest sum in there was the OTARMA, which included that increase of $800 and some dollars. Also, as I mentioned at the last, I don't know if it was the last meeting or the meeting before that, that we would start seeing the Lorain County Health Plan being taken out monthly instead of quarterly, and this was the first monthly payment that showed up.
It's really better for us anyway in planning.
And
So
then,
that's going to be the amount for 12 months? Each month for 12 months?
yes,
Okay.
for roughly. And just to go over quickly, our year-to-date revenue is $757,107.52, and our expenditures are $519,085.53.
Are there any other comments or questions on the financial reports or the payment listing?
I have none.
Okay, then can I have a motion to approve the financial reports and pay the bills with reservation?
So moved. Second.
Abraham,
Yes.
Uhrig,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Okay, anything else there, Chris?
The last, I didn't know if you wanted to go right into the
We are, we're
the
gonna,
budget.
yeah, and that's what
That's it.
I've got for 5B is the budget then.
Okay.
Okay, you do have a prepared resolution in your packet, and we've already met at a special meeting here on the 2022 annual budget of estimated revenues and expenditures. The way things are right now is, you know, at the end of 2022, with the best we can forecast right now, we will still have a balance then going into 2023. So we won't be necessarily, at least in most of the accounts, we know some of the accounts will be zeroed out, but nothing at this point that indicates there has to be any adjustments or new levies in place. But we are aware with the general fund is that looking forward, we've either got to increase the revenue or decrease the expenses, one or the other. And as we know is with some of the new developments, and also if the jet areas actually get the new business growth in there, that's probably going to be the biggest opportunity for additional revenue short of a new levy or a levy replacement or some other option there. But with that, Chris made the adjustments that were discussed at that meeting, and with that, I'll just open it up for, well, actually, I'll bring this to the floor first, is I'm going to make the motion that to provide for the estimated revenues and current expenses and other expenditures of the Board of Trustees during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, the following sums are and the same are hereby set aside and appropriated for the several purposes for which expenditures are to be made for and during the fiscal year, provided in the format prescribed by the Budget Commission of Lorain County, Ohio, as follows. And that would be, and I'm not going to read through all these details between the general fund, road and bridge, ambulance, fire, EMS, and whatnot, but you've got the document in front of you. Anyone that wishes out in the audience, they're there too, and it is pouring rain out there, I see. Hope everyone's got their windows up.
I'll second that motion.
All right, thanks, Denny. And then, and Chris, you're aware of who you've got to give copies to and whatnot on
Yep.
this section too.
It'll be delivered tomorrow.
All right, now it's seconded by Denny. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call, Chris?
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes. What's the number on it?
7621.
Okay, and the other thing, just so that we have help here, is everybody knows at 7:30 we have the bid opening for the Engle Ditch Phase 3, so if I'm not paying attention to time, someone please sing out that it's time to move into the bid opening. This time I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. Is there anyone that has anything to bring before the trustees? If so, raise your hand. Yes, sir. If you state your name and where you live and what the issue is.
My name is Tom Mitchell. I live at 1268 Park Avenue, east of 58 in Amherst, Ohio. Denny, you probably recall me bringing that up to you, the ditch
Yeah.
near
Yes.
9191 Levitt Road.
Yes.
Molnar's, this is Dave. Ed Molnar, this is a family members of mine. I happen to be in this business somewhat, and we are experiencing high levels of flooding in their, this is a business, you know, this is commerce. I give their father and them credit for bringing business, you know, to Amherst Township. But I speak today on their behalf in regards to the flooding there. It's dang near, Denny, coming into the building. And I'm here today to see if we can do something or rectify something in regards to this flooding issue. I have pictures to kind of show you guys a little bit if you're interested in
Could you
seeing
bring
them.
up,
Sure.
please? And Tom, do you also have those digitally where they can be emailed to the township?
Yes, that's correct.
Is this at the old Molnar's trailer property?
Would they be at the Molnar trailer property? No, this is Molnar Outdoor.
Oh, on the other side.
Yes, on the east side of the road.
Okay.
That's the one where the tile goes under 58.
That's correct.
I believe the tile was practically lower than the ditch
Yeah, we have some issues there, and the ditch that runs
to the,
due west back along that field. And then I believe it ties into the speedway. Am I correct with that one, or
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Kev, you familiar with that one?
Yeah, not that far out, but I don't think it actually ties into the speedway.
Because I have some buddies right now that are currently cleaning all the way around the, the speedway and stuff, and just maintaining the ditches, so,
Yeah, I believe it ties into that ditch that's running north and south along
Yeah.
that right-of-way that.
it does, Kev, but I just seen the water for myself, and, again, any type of commerce, business, for us in Amherst Township, I'm a native of Amherst Township there. If there's anything we can do, or you guys can do, as far as your help, that would be wonderful.
That's on Route 58, right?
Yes, it is, Danny, right there.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, we're
and
gonna,
it's south of,
I've spoke with the state.
Yeah, Kev's actually helped me, try to reach out, and Kev, I appreciate that. He really has, man, and I really give him a lot of credit. Kevin and I grew up with Jacobic, and we know these people personally. We understand there's certain ways to handle things professionally, I think we all know and would agree that it does help a little bit to kind of know a little bit, but I think it's beyond that, guys and gals. We just need some help, and any way we can get some help, we sure would appreciate it.
you know what, Tom, and this might just be timing, and Kevin, as you're aware, and David's aware, because we had David, Trustee Urig, involved in this and working with the county engineer back in 2015. Believe it or not,
Wow.
we've kept this on our agenda.
No kid.
And the issue at that time, we were expecting the state, since that's a state route,
We
to
understand.
correct this, because the engineers, and these engineers are retired now from Lorraine County. They had determined, they said this is actually acting like a bathtub, so to speak, with a trap,
Yeah.
and that they really would need to either reprofile the whole ditch, which would be very expensive, or raise a section of the road, which ODOT wasn't inclined to do. But it's potential now.
But don't they consider, commerce and don't they consider homeowners and people that are running a business? And to me, that means a lot in today's, in our environment, in our world today. I understand things cost money, but we all pay taxes, and if I ran my job the way they ran, people would fire me. And morally, I couldn't operate that way.
The difficulty, Tom, is determining where to put the limited funds, but there's two things right now that might help. Some will require some action on your part.
Okay.
The new thing is the American Rescue Plan funding potentially could help. We're still going to have to work between our county engineer and the state, because realize the state receive funding too. And this being a health issue down there, and also creating the issue of the flooding coming over the road occasionally.
When I seen it from my own eyes that day, I just flew in from Florida. Ironically, I was there that day, and the water was literally running over the water, and the cars were coming down, literally. And
wish you would have gotten
I-
the pictures of that.
I know, you know, it was that one of those flash floods that we received, maybe about a month and a half ago, roughly. And I just didn't take photos, but I'm glad we had those.
Right. Well, here's, I'm gonna ask you to email these, and Linda, if you can, yeah, so that Tom can email those to you.
Okay.
And then, Tom, if you can write a narrative as to your, you know, the issues you've seen, similar to as you presented here, and just email that to Linda also.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is, obviously, you know, Kevin's been intimately involved with this. David, I don't know if this is one, are you willing to still follow through with the county engineer to help
Work
Kevin
on
out
it.
here?
That would be wonderful.
What you will probably have to do, though, the county's, not saying they'll require it, but I expect they're going to ask you to sign what they refer to as a ditch petition. They don't happen fast, but that is a formal process in the Ohio Revised Code that then can set in motion where the county Board of Commissioners, working in conjunction with the county engineer, have a formal process they have to follow. It doesn't mean it'll be corrected, but I'm hoping that with the ruling in the ARP funds, and people are still trying to figure out exactly what ARP funds are eligible for and what they aren't eligible for, that the state can provide some of their funds to help with this. The county, what they've done on some of these ditch petitions, it can go one of two directions. Based on the cost and whatever they determine the final solution is, there is the potential that the County Board of Commissioners could determine to assess all property owners that drain into that drainage course, which is never a popular issue with everyone. Obviously for you, you'd want it, and all those businesses in that area would want it. We would want it from the standpoint of not having that road flooding over, and also
For safety
for our residents
purposes,
there.
yeah.
Exactly.
7:30 now.
Okay, thanks, Denny. We'll finish up with Tom, and then we'll have to go into the bid opening.
Can we call in the bids right now?
But are there anyone here with any additional bids for the Engle Ditch Phase 3? Okay, so the bidding time is 7:31. We can't accept any more bids. But just so you're aware, that's a very formal process. The county commissioners with the engineer and all the adjoining property owners, just the immediate adjoining property owners, have first a ditch viewing. Then the county engineer determines what the cost is and to mitigate the situation. Well, that's where, since it's a state route, and we've already been involved in this, that requires ODOT to get involved. Then they have to determine, with that cost, they determine what would a reasonable assessment be. But if between Lorraine County Stormwater District, which has some funding available, typically for all 18 townships, they put out about $400,000 we all can try and get a piece of. But I believe it's around 1.4 million total. This is countywide for all the unincorporated areas. That's all they collect. That may seem like a large amount, but it doesn't go real far.
It seems like a real low amount.
Yeah, it doesn't go real far,
Yeah.
but between that and what the state might be able to bring in their ARP funds, maybe this might be the time to get it done. But we'll let the county engineer and the county Board of Commissioners kind of decide which direction they want to go.
Yeah, if I
you
could,
start with your pictures and a narrative and an email and send to Linda.
I sure will, and I'll send that to you.
And did you have a
If you
comment,
guys can
David?
really help me out here, that would be great. You know,
Well, we can't promise anything.
Yeah,
We
well,
we
you're-
kept it
you're-
on the
you're-
agenda so it doesn't get
Yeah.
forgotten because it's been brought up.
I think if it goes back to 2018,
15.
or 15, that's,
2015.
I think we'll do everything in our power to get Linda the emails and what have you, and
How do the neighbors feel?
I-
I don't think they're happy, but. you
no,
know,
because
they-
the property south of the Molnar property, they are flooding out as well. I can't speak for him,
to get them
But-
involved too. The more people you get involved, the bigger it looks, the bigger the voice. I know it's been impacting Molnar.
Who's the fellow that, from the county that's, the guy in control of the ditches?
That's doing it now for the
Yeah, yeah.
stormwater, that
Didn't-
will be Pete Sawick.
Okay.
Back
Do-
then.
Are you, one of you guys able to reach out for me to him personally and,
Well, that's gonna, what's gonna happen is when you send the photos in your narrative, that's what we're going to use, the contact, because now we've got the evidence and it's
Okay.
not us pushing, it's you.
okay,
And Linda, you're aware under M for the complaints with the timing, because it was on 10/22, let's see, it was 10/13/15 when the first complaint was turned in. And at that time, it was for the addresses of 9160, 9171, and 9191.
9191 would be the Molnar property?
Yeah, so that's, but we received it for all three of those. On 10/22/15, we sent a letter to ODOT District 3. At that time, the director was Howard Huber, maybe someone else now. We had a trustee meeting with Bob Cliver, who's still with the county engineer's office now. He's the deputy county engineer. On 11/10/15, their meeting was right at Molnar Outdoor with the Lorraine County engineer, ODOT, and the township. ODOT said they'd analyze it, provide Lorraine County engineer with results. Lorraine County engineer at that time thought they could initiate a Lorraine County Stormwater District funding application, but at that time they determined the real solution was they had to get that culvert raised up. And at that point, once ODOT said no, we were kind of stuck. But we can probably push that a little bit more. And by the no, I think the no wasn't so much a safety issue as far as changing the elevation. I think it's a cost issue.
And we would have to shut the road down for a few.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I've knifed across roads plenty of times. We just hustle it up. You know, but,
Well, it's good you brought it forward,
Yeah.
but I mean, we're putting some burden back on you.
I
Write up
really-
the
I really
narrative,
appreciate
get
it.
those photos.
I will.
Because that's what helps.
yeah, I talked to Denny, and Denny was like, hey, man, come on, you gotta come to a meeting. So,
Well, and he's right. You see that flooding over the road again, take those photos. Those always help.
okay,
We've had it, you'll be hearing this bid opening we have to get to is also for drainage, and that's for flooding. We've had multiple locations along Oberlin and Stang Road.
okay,
You know, and we've actually had where there's been motor vehicle accidents and even resulted in a death. So obviously, you know, that's gotten taken care of.
yeah,
But we, you know, if we can do it ahead of time, it'd be nice.
that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks,
Okay,
Tom.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into the bid opening for the Angle Ditch Phase 3. And you've got at the back of your packet, Linda put together a tabulation sheet. And there were 17 packages pulled, and how many were submitted, Chris?
7.
7. So we received 7 back. Obviously, the builders exchange, we wouldn't expect from them, so there was a potential of 16 bidders.
Okay.
17.
Well, builders exchange doesn't bid on it.
I
That's
just want to know the,
yeah, they get the information and other contractors can see it.
and, I believe it's Ryman Excavating. And Ryman, R-I-E-M-A-N.
It's number 11.
That's what, thanks, Linda. Number 11 on the tabulation sheet.
And their bid is $189,754.05.
You read that again, Chris?
$189,754.05.
And while we're getting this, Linda, make sure you get all of Tom's contact information too. Obviously, you'll get the email, but.
Is Flow Properties, doing business as Wolf Contracting.
Properties?
Flow Contracting, where are they?
Flow Properties, doing business as Wolf Contracting.
13.
Wolf Contracting, okay.
Okay. 13, thanks, Kevin.
They're all on that backside.
All of them are, okay.
And theirs is $156,747.
$747?
Yep, 156,747.
No cents.
No cents.
Okay, read out the number.
She doesn't.
I don't
Oh,
have
you
the
don't
number.
have it.
Well, I
Oh,
know-
okay.
I'll let you know the number, you say the name.
Thank you. Is Eclipse.
Eclipse, 15.
15.
$222,623.50.
$623.50.
Yep, 222,623.50. Mark's Construction,
16.
$183,870.52.
Read that again, Chris?
Sure, $183,870.52.
52.
Big Trees,
Big Trees is 10.
Number 10.
$168,490.50.
190.50.
Dennis Concrete,
9.
$190,878.75. State Highway
12.
Clearing,
What
That's
is
number
it?
12.
number 12.
Number 12.
$157,746.50.
157,746.
50.
That should be it, right?
That is it.
All right, thanks, Chris. And Kevin, you're gonna get all those over to the county engineer then.
Send everything over to the county engineer to make sure that all the paperwork's in order. And then we'll let you know, or the county will let you know within, who knows how long, a week or so. Okay?
Okay, we're going to move back into the regular meeting. I think we've got no other audience concerns then? Everyone else was forbidding? All right, I did want to touch on, under 7A for the American Rescue Plan, and we knew at the last meeting that now the townships will be receiving funding. I'm not sure exactly when we'll actually see funding, Chris. I don't know if when you...
I submitted the registration yesterday.
Right, and it's important everyone knows, and I don't know if you're aware, it also sent a reply email to me indicating that you had completed the registration to receive the funds, so...
I had to list the highest ranking, with you being chairman of the
I
trustees.
just wasn't sure if you were aware the email got sent out, because I said, oh, great, Chris got it done. So, and that was, since we already had the DUNS number and the SAM's registration for the CARES Act funding, you know, that helped expedite it, but this is still going to require reporting, still subject to auditing. The rules are a little bit different. They're very arcane and difficult in reading it because two different people can read these things and come out with a different determination as to what can be funded and what can't be funded. Some of the CARES Act, though, is, Linda, I'm going to ask you to be the central point again, which means you're really going to have to educate yourself on this. What is nice, the Ohio Township Association is trying to keep everything centralized on the OTA's website, and they do have the links going right to the U.S. Treasury's website also for any new information that comes out. In the, I believe the next webinar will be July 28th, which is actually going to focus on use of the funds, but it will be showing on the OTA's website for when that next webinar is, which is going to be real important. Everyone should look at the OTA's website, get those things on your schedule, and attend if you can attend. They are virtual Zoom meetings, which is nice. But I know the last webinar, they still expect, just as with the CARES Fund, that this will evolve over time as to determination of what can and can't be funded. If you go through the frequently asked questions section, Linda, that's where it gets confusing on safety forces. In our case, that's fire and EMS predominantly as far as the use of funds. You know, because the question directly is there, hey, during the CARES Act, the determination was, which remember didn't happen until September of 2020, and we had up to December 2020 to spend the funds. So it wasn't until September that they finally made a determination. Well, it's kind of like a yes and no response. But the way I'm reading it, it almost appears like we can. Ultimately, we'll be doing the same thing, putting together what we believe is the case and our justification, but then getting an opinion from the prosecutor's office. The last time with the fire and EMS, I handled that myself, but I am going to ask you if you will do this. First, you have to educate yourself on it. Call me if you want to discuss it. But then I think in this case, we'll need to talk with Chief Wilhelm, find out, because I know the last time when the CARES Act funding came out, it was difficult, I'm sure, for him to see everything. He might not have been seeing everything the administration was seeing. But ultimately, through discussions we had with Chief Wilhelm and Mayor Koslow and Amherst, since they are the ones we contract for fire service, we all came to the determination, yes, it could be used, and finally we got a definite determination from the U.S. Treasury. But I would check with them also and just see where they're landing on it before we give the communication to the prosecutor's office. Because, you know, sometimes it's the way you ask determines what their legal opinion is, and the way I'm reading that, it looks like we could, and that will help us, because as we went through the budget meeting here, we were aware that right now we're treading what we take in, and fire and EMS pays our cost of fire and EMS. Now, fortunately, we rely on it. We've got a healthy balance to carry forward. But if we can use these ARP funds to help offset that cost, that will forestall or delay a future increase in a levy to continue to pay for those services, because we know eventually those services go up. And the last contract was renegotiated in 2019. So you know we'll be coming up next year, we'll be back into negotiations, and that's where we'll see. I can assure you there's going to be price increases because people are going to have wage increases and vehicle costs have gone up. So if we can delay that by using some of these ARP funds, that'd be very helpful. We do know we can use them for that new equipment for Life Care, which services our Sandstone Joint Ambulance District, and Denny's going to stay on top of that with you met, was it last month, Denny, I think you met?
Yes.
You brought that up with them?
Yeah,
But that's a very small piece. We're talking about
64,000.
a total,
Total.
yeah, 64,000 is their request. Since we're about 30%, ours will be 19,000, but realize we're going to receive total, the estimate is over 602,000 in 2 different payments. So we don't know when we'll receive the first payment of roughly $301,000. Unlike CARES, where we received that funding in 2020 and had to spend it by the end of 2020, and even though they gave an extension, so people are still using CARES funds, we went through to make sure we had legitimate projects, and we kept to the deadline of December 2020, because it wasn't until December 2020 that they came out and said, oh, we're going to give you more time. Well, it's just not the case. But with these, we now have until 2024 to commit the funds. In 2026, December 2026, to spend the funds as they have it set right now. So that's where Congress realized the last one was an awful hurried up thing. So this gives a little bit more time. It's not a huge amount. And that's where we had the issues like the pavilion, the park improvement we had there. When we couldn't go out and competitively bid like we normally would like to do, like we just did on the ditch, because the timing it takes to do all that, we would have been beyond the December time deadline. And then we also had the weather issues to deal with. So this at least gives us more flexibility, but it also is a little bit more restrictive the way I see it and how the funds can be used. And somehow it all has to be tied back to the coronavirus and the pandemic. And I hope come 2024, when we have to have these funds committed, nobody's even talking about it anymore. So it might seem a little odd even having this, but into Mr. Mitchell, this is where I'm saying some of these funds might come available because the state received funding also. But I'm asking Linda to look at that, but I want everybody to educate themselves and also start bringing the projects forward. Just realize we don't know exactly when we'll receive funding, but it's going to come, half of it's supposed to come this year, and then half of it next year. Not sure what month that is. And then also they do provide a very detailed Excel spreadsheet, because one of the things you can use it for is recovery for lost funds, that with funding being down during the pandemic. Well, that's where we said, well, how do you calculate that? We had the state of Ohio in the midst of this, just prior to the pandemic hitting, was the new gas tax going in, which we intended to use on roads, and we were expecting that to be at least 30% more than in the past. It never hit that amount. It was difficult to determine what that amount would be because we had the roughly the 18.5 cent or 10.5 cent increase in passenger vehicles. Well, that was easy per gallon used, but then they really increased on diesel fuel, and they put a fee on alternative vehicles. Well, okay, what do you expect that number to be? You know, so that was difficult to determine what it's going to be. So how do we determine what we lost? That fund was down a little bit, but if you consider we were expecting it to increase and it didn't increase to what we had, can you claim that? It appears, looking at their spreadsheet, you can, but there are some things missing in that spreadsheet. So you're going to have to really dig into it, Linda. But I just want for the trustees, the road department, zoning, everyone be considering where you see how these funds might be used. Realize we've got to make sure we meet the requirement of the funding that's in there. But if we can use it for the benefit of our residents and businesses, that's what we want to do. Okay? All right, we'll move on to reports. Ambulance, Denny?
Nothing under ambulance. We had our last meeting in June, and I think I've covered that. If there's any questions, I'll answer them. If not, so be it.
And I guess the real thing on that is just keeping tabs with the guys on the board as far as once we receive our funding, that they're all
Right.
committed to it, and then we can get the improvements there with life care, which would really be wonderful if that comes through. I mean, that's an easy one to tie directly to it. I mean, my gosh, where you can be communicating electronically right with providers as you're transporting people and giving their vitals out is wonderful. Okay, the sheriff's not here. Zoning, Inspector Cerrone.
We had 0 permits for July so far. The ZBA has scheduled a meeting for July the 15th at 7 o'clock for a variance, request, a frontage variance. And that's pretty much all I have for right now.
July the 6th, the 15th.
The 15th at 7 o'clock for a frontage variance.
Thank you.
Any questions for Remy? All right, fire prevention's not here. Roads, parks, and cemetery, Superintendent Smarsh.
Park and Cemetery, we had a burial on the 2nd of July. Other than that, we've just been mowing and trimming. And on the roads, we are about to get into the catch basin repair time of the year. I have 3 slated for the mini grant, but I also have 3 slated for in-house to take care of. We've been on roadside trimming and obviously mowing and trimming the roadsides and the hall and across the road. Keeping up with the brush pile. We had an inspection on the 15th, and we're all in compliance, so we're all good there. Other than that, everything seems to be going pretty good.
Okay, and just so, you have a question from me?
Well, I wanted to tell you that we're meeting on Friday, the August 20th. It's Friday, August 20th at 1 o'clock. And that burial will be, trying to think of the name of it. It's just going to be, the stone with the, what do you call that, Kevin?
It's the cremation.
The cremation, yes. It's at 1 o'clock, August 20th. That's a Friday. And that's going to be right next to my wife's grave. I'm just telling you that so you know it.
Yep, it's jotted down.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
one other thing with those 3 added catch basins, Linda, if you can work with them, because they talk about, you know, water, sewer being eligible. Well, in sewer, it comes down to, are we talking just sanitary? We talking sanitary and storm? But just be aware that, of coordinate that if we can use that funding. That'll help protect some of the road funds if we're able to use the ARP funding for that.
Do we know dates that we're allowed to use it?
Pardon?
Do we know dates that are
Yes.
for usage?
Yes, it's in those, it's, when you look at the website, it starts in March of
This year?
2021.
Okay.
Yes, after it was passed. Unlike the CARES funding, that's one of the things you can't look back. If you recall, the CARES funding, we didn't get the funds till late, but we could go all the way back to when the pandemic started.
Right.
These ARP funds are not. It's in March, and it gives the actual date. You'll have to look it up, but March of 2021.
Okay, so the catch basins would fall within that.
They should fall
That's right.
within
Okay.
it, but we first got to make absolutely certain it's
Right.
covered in that section, to take care of that.
Did you mention about the people leaving junk?
Okay, are there any other questions for Kevin?
No,
No, I have none.
Okay, we do have one item here for roads. We have, I believe now we've got the Ohio Public Works Commission project agreement and promissory note for the South Dewey Road project, which is their project numbers C-142Y and C-143Y, all signed. But this is the Ohio Public Works Commission's first year of trying to do this all electronically and electronic signatures. And our contact there is the Chief Financial Officer, Abby DeHart, and I had received the communication to be on the lookout for an email to electronically sign these, and to my knowledge, it never received it. I had then contacted Abby to let her know that and said, hey, it's possible it went to my junk file and I inadvertently deleted it, but I usually watch those pretty good. And she sent me an email today before noon indicating I'd already signed it. Well, there's no way I signed it. I never received it, and I would remember signing it. But then later in the afternoon, at 1:43 p.m., I received an electronic email that, hey, here's the information to electronically sign the project agreement. And so I went on and I signed that. What I didn't see, it did show the promissory note, which I know you'd already electronically signed because you received your email. But the one I was signing for the project agreement showed the promissory note with no signature on it. I was expecting to see it on there. But in any case, I signed it. I then responded to Abby that, perhaps you were confusing this with a promissory note. You signed it, I signed the project agreement. So I have signed it. I sent it in to Abby. I copied for Linda, Kevin, and Chris, since Kevin, it was only you, Linda, and you, Chris, and I that were supposed to receive those emails. I don't know what other people are receiving and what they're not receiving. And I always want Linda to be aware of what's going on.
Right. When I told you I received one at 4:46 today, but I'll forward that to you before I leave tonight, just so you have it.
Okay.
In case it's something, and then just call me if I have to.
Okay. And I don't think you got anything besides the email saying you were going to get it, but he never got the documents either.
Oh, so you didn't, okay.
Mm-mm.
And it's possible because they had sent that follow-up, they're having trouble with their mail merge program too, where different communities were receiving another community's information. But they assured us no mistakes were being made, that they had it under control. So I'm hoping with this, but we want to make sure we communicate with Abby and get it in writing. We can award the bid, because just as that project agreement states, though we can bid the project at our risk, which we already have, is we can't award the project until all that documentation's been approved. And I know Kevin's got bid books here to be signed tonight. I wouldn't turn anything in until Abby sends back,
I'll contact
yes,
her in the
everything's
morning.
complete. Because we've done everything we can, but This particular resolution is authorization to enter into the Ohio Public Works Commission project agreement and award the bid for the South Dewey Road resurfacing project from Middle Ridge Road to Ackerman Road, which is the Amherst South Corporation line. It'll resurface a length of 3,380 feet, which is 7,647 square yards, funded with OPWC round 35 grants and loan funds and township funds. So what I'm going to do is make this motion to bring it to the floor, but in section 1, upon full execution and return of the Ohio Public Works Commission project agreement for the South Dewey Road TR 105 resurfacing project, the project shall be awarded to Precision Paving of Milan, Ohio. Mr. Kevin Smarsh, Amherst Township Road Superintendent, is assigned project management responsibility for the project. As project manager, Road Superintendent Smarsh shall be responsible for communicating project updates to all elected officials and the public, shall coordinate schedules and interaction between various professional services and various contractors that may be awarded the project work based upon the bid, shall ensure project documentation is maintained, and shall be authorized to approve any change orders of $5,000 or less, provided the total of all change orders does not exceed the total estimated project construction cost by more than 10%. Amherst Township Chairperson Neil Lynch or Dennis Abraham, the trustee assigned responsibility for roads, and/or Township Road Superintendent Kevin Smarsh are authorized to sign any agreements required for the South Dewey Road resurfacing project from the Ohio Public Works Commission for road reconstruction, resurfacing, and improvements in order to prevent further road damage caused by poor surface drainage. I just want to stop on that section. We tried to give multiple people, because in the old days, which was really just last year, when they do all this by paper and it gets mailed back and forth, we didn't want to have a thing where a project gets delayed because somebody's out of town or not available, so that's why we authorize multiple people to sign it. But with the new system, it only goes to who the OPWC's listing, and they list the chairman of the board for the project agreements, and they list the fiscal officer for any promissory note. So I think we'll continue to put this in like this, but it may not matter anymore if everything's done electronically and it has to be tagged to your email address. We may be forced into whoever is the chairman, which can change, whoever is the fiscal officer. So that's just the way they've got it set up now.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's still a couple more here. Road Superintendent Smarsh is hereby authorized and directed to execute and provide all information documents required by OPWC, funding assistance grant, loan program agreements, Amherst fiscal officer, and I'm not going to read the rest. You know what you got to pay them from. But you're seconding that then, Denny?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, and roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
7-7.
7-7?
7-7.
And again, Kevin, just to be repetitive, we'll sign the bid books today, but you and Linda have to communicate, make sure Abby, and preferably in writing, says we're good to go. Okay, Senior Services and Township Administration, Director Ashley.
I really don't have too much to say. The Green Ribbon Award we should hear on the 16th. So that will be Friday, I believe. Whether or not we got that, that's the $2,500 energy award that would be used for future projects. And the sponsorship from the Lorain County Health Department, we will be getting a letter from them like an agreement letter that needs to be signed, and she said that would be around the 16th also, and so then we'll go forward with getting all the playground equipment. That's really all I have. We did find a license plate, though. Kevin found one over, was it in the driveway? In the driveway on the way to the yard waste, and it is in the office. I put it on our Facebook page that we have one, so if you've lost a license plate, call me in the office.
Have you talked with the sheriff possibly running it?
I have not, no.
Just have Matt run it and find out
Yeah,
who it
I can
belongs
do
to.
that too. I was just hoping somebody, you know, if they lost it, they would just come forward, but could have come off the trailer. Looks like a back plate because it has the county on it in the stickers.
Oh, boy. We're gonna miss that one.
All right, thanks, Linda. Every little bit here helps. And how would you figure those out in that spreadsheet? You know, these are grants you apply for that you're not expecting, and then when you see that spreadsheet for the art funds, it's all in there. I mean, so how how are they gonna compare this stuff?
I
You know,
have
these
no
grants
idea.
didn't even exist, you know, in the previous time frame. They're looking at you're using as your benchmark to compare to. So it's, I don't know. Congress didn't think through that one. Okay, are there any other questions for Linda? All right, I do have for the Phase 2 MS4 stormwater, you know, we also had Mr. Mitchell bring something forward, but we have here the mini grant memorandum of understanding, and Kevin just referred to the 3 catch basins that are going to be done, repaired in Hidden Valley with these grant funds. We do have to get this signed. We had previously authorized the road superintendent, township administrator, or any township trustee are authorized to sign Lorraine County Stormwater District application for mini grant and related documentation in the memorandum of understanding for the 2021 program year. So, but with this, just to keep everyone informed, is, Linda, I'm going to ask, well, you know what, it does have on here, though, all the Board of Trustees. Before you guys leave tonight, we're all going to sign this.
Okay.
But Linda, if you can then scan it and get it back to Matt Arnold.
Yep.
And you'll see I've attached his email here. Let's see, Chris and I both received it. I don't know if I forwarded this email to you or not. It came in July 6th.
Yeah, I did not get this.
Okay.
Sign it and give it to me.
Okay, well,
There
if
you
you
go.
can do that, and,
I'll deliver it tomorrow.
well, whatever you do, I was hoping that we have it scanned, so there's an electronic record, and respond to Matt's email, since then he's gotta walk it through before Kevin can award the bid. And again, we don't wanna get too far ahead, next thing you know, oh, that's not going to be covered, because you didn't follow the exact detail of the grant award. But before we leave tonight, we have to sign this. So Linda, forget what I said about you signing this.
Okay.
Then also you have, in regards to stormwater, and I don't know, were any of the extra packets out there? If you can, if there are, I would encourage Mr. Mitchell to get one of the extra packets, because this is one of the phases for those that go through the stormwater permitting process. This happens to be a drainage ditch that crosses over Albrecht Road and impacts New Russia Township and Amherst Township. But the notice is informing the Board of Trustees that the Lorraine County Commissioners, and it's officially called Batten House Ditch Lateral Number 2. Realize lateral number 2 is just a reference that the county engineers use for the real formal definition of what I would consider a tributary to the Batten House ditch, but it's just a minor ditch that flows into the Batten House ditch. But they have set the final hearing date is scheduled for October 19th at 9:30 a.m. So if you want to put that on your schedule, and you have the documentation here, Chris, I don't know if you want the official notice. This is the original here. You've got a copy in your packet, but you want this, or?
If
do
you'd
not
like
need
me
it?
to, I'll put it with the
Pass that down.
meeting minutes.
But just so you're aware, Tom, this happens to be a ditch that's going through the very process we discussed with you. And I think that's it as far as the stormwater. Okay, with that, I'm going to open it up as if there's, for the items that are assigned specific responsibility to the trustees, if you look at the agenda, are there any items to bring forward or any new business?
I really have nothing right now, Neil.
I have nothing either.
Forward.
Okay. And I haven't heard anything yet as far as the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grant yet. If you recall, we had passed the resolution supporting the Quarries project. This is not the quarries over by Quarry Road, but the quarry project that's between Oberlin Road and the Pinehurst development, as far as conserving that and becoming part of the Lorraine County Metro Park. So I'm not sure when their meeting date is or when the deadline is for hearing on those grant applications. Well, if there's no other new business, our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, July 27th. Is there any need for a work session in the next 2 weeks? Okay, and again, a chance, any audience concerns? Okay, is there any need for an executive session?
No, sir?
Okay, hearing none, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move?
Second.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.